Alright everyone, you have seen me use the Morty system from NWT before, but I have not done a tricky unit. So in this video what I want to do is showcase real quick the differences in these in both size and functionality, so maybe you guys can have a better understanding of what they do and which one you might want to use for your bike. So stick around. Alright, now that we have these unboxed, I think it's a good opportunity to just quickly go over the differences in these two systems for what I understand. So first, let's open up the Morty. I'll show you everything it comes with. So this is the unit itself. Basically this side is your inputs. You have your two power inputs along with the ground. And then this side is basically going to come from your controls and then your 10-pin sub-harness connector. You're going to have some inputs here along with a couple outputs. And then you have some switching components there. And on this side, see you have your screw terminals. And these are all your outputs. And then this dial right here is like a variable output control. And then this is like an auto reset. So quickly, I'm just going to set this down. Show you guys some of the wiring it comes with. And there are multiple ways of doing this. Now I kind of went the easy route this time and just got the pre-wired controls. But basically they're going to include a plug-and-play harness, and you just tap in basically to the end of these wires. Now if you're like me, you go a little overboard with a lot overboard with absolutely everything. So what I do is I actually have these pins and I remake all of this and I just use my corresponding wire colors and stuff like that. So I go a little bit outside of the norm on this, and that's what I did on the CX500 build. But that's not what you have to do. These are basically pre-wired controls that you just plug in right here, okay? And it's just done. And then you just run your outputs like to your headlight, turn signals, that kind of thing. So getting back to this one, you can see the physical size here, and that is the tricky unit next to it. So let's crack that open. I keep losing my blade. I keep putting it under stuff. So the tricky unit I have not used, but it's going to operate in the exact same principle. So you can see the size difference here. Now, further note, right now they have 3 units. There's the Morty, and there's also the Marty, which is the exact same housing, but it operates on a different set of controls. Now, this one is only going to be operating on a couple momentary buttons. I'm going to get those out and show you. So let me grab those real quick. Quickly go over the differences again, and it will all start making sense for you, I promise. Now the tricky unit is going to have the same traditional outputs. It's going to have your starter solenoid, your ignition output. It's going to have headlight, high, low, turn signals, tail light, running light, horn, and that should be it. It's going to have all the basic outputs that you're going to need. And then from there you have one single input along with the traditional 2 power and 1 ground input from here. Then you have your switch. So this is going to operate on momentary buttons. So you just push them, makes contact, and then you release, and it's not locked. It's not a latching style button. So it's actually the first time I've used these buttons. They're super clean. So the entire bike, all those features I mentioned are going to be controlled by 2 single buttons. So your button sequence, if you guys want to screenshot that, I apologize for using a GoPro for detailed shots. It's kind of pointless. But basically, your right bar control, let's see, button 2 for right bar control. 1 tap, right turn signal. 2 taps, engine power on, off. 3 tap, hazard lights on, off. And then you hold it to crank the bike, okay? As far as your left bar control, 1 tap, left turn signal. 2 taps, headlight, high, low toggle, okay? And then hold it for the horn. So really not that hard. You just have to remember it. The Morty unit is going to operate off your traditional style, more latching controls, where these kind of stay in position, you know what I mean? There's obviously like your start button, that's a momentary button. But the Morty system is programmed to operate off that style controls. Now, I mentioned the Marty, same housing, but it's going to operate off of momentary. Okay, so now you're wondering, what's the difference between the tricky unit and the Marty unit? Okay, the difference is going to be there's going to be more output capability with the Marty unit. The Marty and the Morty are similar. They have this 10-pin connector, okay? And that's important. So of course you have your traditional inputs, but the output, this is also going to have like gauge backlight and your dummy lights, say your high beam indicator, and your turn signal lights and oil pressure light, that kind of thing. So that can be all controlled and run through this, whereas the tricky does not have that. So you would have to wire that on your own. But this kind of unit is going to be for more simplified builds, like let's say like a chopper or something like that, or a scooter. Like you don't really care about all the dummy lights that might not even have gauges on it. So this is going to be perfect for that. Now I'm going to use this on an upcoming GS 550 build. It's going to be a very like sport oriented kind of a resto mod superbike, and I'm just going to try to get it as clean as possible. But I am planning on running like a gauge pack on it, like a more modern one that has all of those indicators, but I'm going to wire those separately. But all the regular bike controls and functions and stuff are going to be controlled by this. It's going to be really clean. Now this one I have for this CX500 build right here. So I have for the CX500 build pre-wired controls. We're going to make it real easy. And then our outputs are going to be just kind of going to where they need to go. But we'll be able to keep them very compact, clean, and organized. So hopefully all of this makes sense. Another thing with the Marty unit is that it will come with different button options. Now it's probably going to have like 3 buttons here, but basically instead of having to remember a button sequence, you have an individual button for whatever control you're after. So hopefully this kind of explains the differences between the systems. I know I get those questions a lot, and that's totally fine. Just want to make sure I get this information out there. But obviously between these, you would have your Marty unit, and that is kind of right in between the two. You know, if you want more traditional style, a lot of output, versus real compact, kind of minimalistic, and push buttons. So the Marty is going to sit right in between these things. But again, hopefully this helps. Definitely check out the NWT website. Their sale as of right now, today is December 5th, I think. As of right now, their sale is still going on. That's why I jumped on these, because they were for a smoking deal. Their Christmas sale every year. So definitely check them out. They'll be linked below, of course. And yeah, check them out on Instagram and follow them there. So hopefully you guys found this informative. I get this question a lot on the differences between the systems and what might be best. So I wanted to make a video and get it out there for you guys to watch and maybe make that decision on your own. But yeah, you have the Morty system with your traditional style controls. You have the tricky unit with like momentary push buttons, and then you have a combination of the two being the Marty right in the middle with momentary controls but more outputs, such as what's featured on the Morty. So anyway, I know it can be confusing, but hopefully, again, this video clears it up. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, of course, leave them below. Contact NWT if you wish. They're going to be more than helpful. They're great guys. And yeah, stick around and stay tuned for more. I'll be definitely making some install videos on these things. Try to go as in-depth as possible and give you guys plenty of information. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.